evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Maisy Mok. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. China retaliates for Tsai Ing-Wen's U.S. trip by launching military drills around Taiwan. Hong Kong ice hockey players get assurances that they will not be affected by any subsidy cut. And there are bouquets and brickbats for the MTR over its half-price fares this weekend. China has begun 3 days of military exercises around Taiwan in response to the island's leader meeting a senior U.S. lawmaker in California. But the drills this time are not as close to the island as last year's maneuvers. Chloe Fong reports.
Just hours after Taiwanese leader Tsai Ing-Wen returned to Taipei from a controversial visit to the United States, China launched 3 days of military exercises around the island. People's Liberation Army spokesman Xu Yi said the live-fire drills are a warning to Taiwanese separatists and external forces not to cause provocations. The drills, codenamed Joint Sharp Sword, were needed to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity, Xu added. The combat readiness patrols are taking place in the Taiwan Strait, as well as to the north, south, and east of the island. Maritime officials in Fujian province, across the strait from Taiwan, said live-fire drills will also take place off the coast of Pingtan County from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday. Ships will be barred from entering the waterway when more exercises take place later this month. Beijing's latest flexing of its military muscle was in response to Tsai's meeting in California with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and a group of Democratic and Republican lawmakers. Taiwan's defense ministry later released a video featuring its armed forces conducting various drills in response to the Chinese maneuvers. On arriving back home, Tsai said her stopovers in the U.S. while going to and returning from Central America showed that Taiwan would not bow to pressure or stop engaging with the world. As tensions rose, the U.S. 7th Fleet went online to show its operations in the East China Sea. In August last year, China held unprecedented exercises near Taiwan after the then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi defied warnings and met Tsai in Taipei. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Among the first visitors Taiwan's leader met on her return home was a group of U.S. lawmakers. The delegation is led by Michael McCaul, who heads the House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs. He assured Tsai Ing-Wen that he will try to speed up the sale of weapons to Taiwan and train its military. The American lawmakers' visit is expected to deepen China's anger, taking place the day after Tsai ended her U.S. trip. Locally, the sports minister says any cuts in subsidies for the Ice Hockey Association will not affect players. The association is facing suspension from the city's top sports body following a national anthem controversy. Janice Lowe reports.
Wading into the row on the latest national anthem blunder, Sports Minister Kevin Yeung said the government agrees with the Sports Federation and Olympic Committee of Hong Kong, China, that the Ice Hockey Association has governance issues. This comes as ice hockey players complained that the bronze medal they won at a tournament in Bosnia last month was overshadowed by the tussle between their association and the sports body. They said the public was focused on the fiasco in which a protest tune was played instead of the national anthem. Yeung explained that as the national anthem is important, it would take the spotlight when the incorrect song is played. He stressed that the government fully supports the players, but Yeung admitted that officials have only spoken to the Sports Federation and Olympic Committee and not to the ice hockey group, saying the government rarely intervenes in the operation of individual sports bodies. The Ice Hockey Association has to submit a report in its defense within a month and could face funding cuts if the top sports body isn't satisfied.
If we have to cut some of the budget at the end, which we do not really want it to happen, we will ensure that the athletes will be able to continue to participate in international competitions, and also their training will not be affected.
Officials of the ice hockey group who are in Romania for a women's competition said a cut in subsidies would affect the training and development of players. It is trying to arrange a meeting with Yang to get to the bottom of the issue. Janice Low, HKIBC.
The civil service chief has blamed overwork and stress during COVID for the large number of resignations from government service. In the 2021-22 financial year, 3,734 people left the civil service. That was the highest since the handover and double the number of resignations in the previous year. About 800 of those who resigned were aged between 25 and 30. Civil Service Secretary Ing-Wen says as the city has returned to normal after the pandemic, the government will provide more learning and training opportunities in a bid to retain staff. The MTR Corporation is offering half-price fares this weekend, but some travelers said there wasn't enough publicity, while others said it was a good deal. MTR passengers can enjoy a 50% discount today and tomorrow if they use their Octopus card or a QR code. The half price also applies to the light rail and bus routes run by the railway operator. But the full fare must be paid for the Airport Express and First Class on the East Rail. The MTR Corporation is obliged to offer discounts this year after setting aside $103 million to compensate for service delays and accidents last year. There was a mixed response to the cheaper fares this weekend. I didn't know, said this commuter at Shenzhen Station. He said there weren't enough promotions and he felt that travelers will benefit more with a fare freeze. Fares are set to rise by 2.3% this year. It's a steal, said this man who was taking a train from Shenzhen to Lok Ma Chau Station. The journey costs $25.10, but today he just had to stump up $12.60. This woman paid only $8.80 instead of $70.70 to travel from Wong Tai Sin to Tongcheng. She's hoping for further discounts. Tickets bought from machines do not qualify for the lower fare, but this visitor from Macau bought one for his daughter anyway. The railway operator will also offer half-price fares on May the 13th and the following day, which happens to be Mother's Day. The government says it's ready to welcome a large number of mainland visitors during Golden Week in May. But Ing-Wen, who's in charge of tourism, hopes to ensure that local residents will not be affected by the influx. He pointed out that the large crowds of travelers gathering in Hong Kong and To Kwa Wan have been reduced by diverting them to different places, including a cruise ship where they can also enjoy meals. Yuan stressed that Hong Kong welcomes all kinds of visitors, including those on one-day tours, as they all help to boost the economy. Overseas, police in Israel have tightened security after an Italian man was killed when a car rammed into a group of tourists in Tel Aviv.
When we arrived on scene, we noticed 8 people laying on the floor. and varying conditions of injuries. One of them, 30-year-old male, severely critically injured, which despite our greatest efforts to save his life, we had to call his death on the scene. All other patients have been evacuated to the closest medical centers in Tel Aviv to be treated for their wounds.
The injured included another Italian and 3 Britons. They were at a popular beach when a car plowed into them. Police shot and killed the driver, who is said to have come from an Israeli Arab city. The U.S. Justice Department is investigating a suspected leak of secret documents on the conflict in Ukraine. There are also claims that the papers, which were posted online, could be a Russian campaign to fool its adversaries. Chloe Fong reports.
Concerns rose when several documents purporting to be Pentagon classified documents were posted online on sites including Twitter and Telegram since last month. The papers dealt with Ukraine's battle plans, troop locations, casualty updates, and a potential counteroffensive by Kyiv against the Russian invaders. The U.S. Justice Department is in touch with the Pentagon and opened an investigation into the leak. The U.S. military headquarters said it is aware of the social media posts and is conducting a review. U.S. officials believe the documents were altered to lower the number of Russian casualties. Ukrainian presidential aide Mikhailo Podolyak said that the leak was part of a Russian disinformation effort to cast doubts about Ukraine's counteroffensive, adding that the papers contained a large amount of false information. Nonetheless, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has met his security officials to discuss ways to prevent leaks. Moscow has yet to comment on the issue. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Catholics around the world have expressed concern about the health of Pope Francis as he continues a hectic Easter schedule. The cold weather in Rome forced the 86-year-old pontiff to skip a Good Friday procession at the Colosseum. But Francis was able to preside over a prayer service at St. Peter's Basilica as planned. He is recovering from bronchitis and spent 3 days in hospital last week. Tomorrow, the Pope will deliver his traditional blessing to the world as Christians celebrate Easter, their holiest day. On to the weather now. Easter Sunday will be mainly cloudy with sunny periods during the day. Temperatures will range between 19 and 24 degrees. Expect similar conditions in the early part of next week. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Saturday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Maisy Mok. All of us at HKIBC wish you a happy Easter.